Hi. You know, another thing about caregiving isn't a threshold. You know, another thing about caregiving isn't just a job. It's a human threshold. It's inevitable. It's somebody's gonna have to take care of somebody at some point. You know, it doesn't, and it's a gradual thing. It's a gradual thing that happens if it's not your job. If you go to a agency to provide care for people, it happens when you watch your parents or your children slowly not be able to do the things they used to do easily for themselves, bathe themselves, dress themselves, even simple things like pour a glass of water. Is when the caretaking starts, is when the threshold starts to shift, you know. Just human. That's what we do. We shift into caretaking. And the caregiving begins when you realize life just isn't the same anymore. A threshold is a crossing. It's a crossing. It's you cross over. It's not a decision that you make. Nobody decides this. You know, because before this, you know, life had options. You could do whatever you wanted to do. It was flexible. You had escape routes. Or you don't. You don't now. You don't have any escape routes. You have to do the work, provide the compassion, show the love, the understanding, the respect for someone who can no longer do what they could before, or maybe someone who has grown up with different abilities than you. You have to hold space for that. And presence, your presence matters always, more than your performance even. Your presence matters in the segment, because jobs can be quit. You can quit a job, but thresholds in our lives, they have to be integrated, where everything just fits together. But you can also make it fit together for you, to work for you and not against you, so that you're not frustrated. Now, you don't apply for it, and you definitely don't train for it. This threshold can shift with a diagnosis. It can shift with a fall or hospital visit, and through testing, things are found, or simply a look from a person that just says, hey, I need you, because you know what to do, you know. And the emotions that get triggered with this threshold integration is shock. You need me? What you need me? I have so much going on. Fear. How am I going to do this? I don't know. Resolve. Maybe I have to do it. Grief. Ugh. But I'm not going to be able to fulfill or keep my goals or pursue my hobbies, and sometimes this happens all at once. You go through many emotions. Go through many at one time. And this is kind of where your identity, when the integration starts to happen, this is where your identity even starts to shift. People don't know how to name it yet, but you start the things that I talked about in the last video. If you haven't seen that video about everybody's not made for caregiving, when that your emotional, was it emotional integrity I was talking about? But I was talking about how the identity shifts to just caregiving. Oh, I know. Caregiving is not your only job. You have to make room for yourself and keep yourself active in what you like, away from any of your caregiving responsibilities. There are resources these days. There are groups these days from Facebook, TikTok. You can simply type in a search, caregivers over 40 something, and you will tap into resources to help you keep your autonomy. And in the duty of caregiving, many caregivers just skip over this part. I'm not going to lose my identity. I'm still going to be, I'm here for mom. That's all that matters. I'm the one doing this. I'm here for mom. That's great. And nobody's taking that away from you at all. Just don't lose you. You have something very valuable to contribute to the collective. And we need you. We need you. Present. Not performing any duty, but being dutiful, but not performing, and also taking time to fill your cup when it's needed. When you get to that point where you start looking maybe at old photos, maybe looking at old videos, and you're like, oh, I like doing that, in one of those moments, you try to go back, but you can't. After you cross that threshold, you've been through these emotions that you felt at once, so it's kind of hard to go back to who you were before, because of the integration of the self and the caregiver. And you have to prepare yourself for a lot. You tell yourself, oh, this is just temporary. I'm taking care of this, I'm taking care of that, I'm managing this and managing that. Or it's just a phase of depression that I'm going through. I'll pick it back up again. The thresholds don't work that way. They don't work that way. You have crossed over into a different identity, and resistance shows up in the body as stress, burnout, resentment, and guilt, and you just feel numb. You just feel numb. You don't get to go back. You go forward differently. Now, what this threshold of crossing over into being a caregiver asks of you is not perfection. Not perfection. You don't have to be perfect to do it. This person just needs you to help do the things that they can no longer do, or maybe they need a little assistance in learning how to do it. Like my daughter, for instance, growing, she needs to learn how to brush her teeth. She needs to learn how to, like all kids do, but she needs to learn how to recognize things and respond verbally, knowing that that will get the best outcome that she needs if she is verbal with what she wants or needs. Then you have to be honest about your capacity, how much you can take, and your limits. You can't run around with this, I grew up Southern Baptist, you can't run around with this God wouldn't put nothing on me that I can't handle mentality. That is detrimental to your mental health. Going around with this martyrdom mindset. You are not here to be martyred. You are a human being and you need boundaries. Even when love is present, you need boundaries. Caregiver or the integration asks you to grow, not disappear. It's asking you to grow. When you get some time and you get to sit in silence a few moments, write it down. Where do you need to grow? This is called, in the spiritual society, shadow work. What are your triggers in giving care to another person? Caregiving only becomes sustainable. Caregiving becomes sustainable only when identity expands itself instead of collapsing. Caregiving isn't about self-erasure. It's about self-integration. So today I would tell the group, practice like sitting down for a few minutes and finding where you're losing yourself, where you are triggered, what boundaries are being crossed, where you are carrying much more than you can handle. And we go through waves. Some days we're up, some days we're down. The things that we tolerated yesterday, we're not tolerating that mess today. And that's okay. It's a part of the human experience. You are human. You all go through ebbs and flows. So invite stillness in those moments to calm yourself and center yourself so that you can think. Action is not required. Be still. And here's another journal prompt. Describe the moment you realized life had changed and you couldn't go back to who you were before. Describe that moment or those moments when you knew, oh, I can't, this is what it is now, and I move forward from here. No matter how that looked or what you thought about it, describe the moment that you knew, okay. This goes back to the first steps in my book, the Resilience Toolkit. The Resilience Toolkit, Life Lessons from Adversity. This is the first act of resilience, being able to name. Being able to name when life changed. Now, this video is not meant to solve caregiving or anything like that. It's just I'm here to help you witness the crossing, to realize what it is. Acknowledge the courage that it takes to stay present at that threshold. And I thank you for watching my videos. Please engage, like, subscribe, comment. We're all here to help and grow each other, lift each other up. If this content is helping you, I will definitely have more content coming out, because I have a manual, caregiving manual, releasing in the spring here. I am a caregiver, and future content will explore what comes after the crossing. Identity, resilience, and boundaries. We want everyone to feel seen, because you cross this threshold. You are not broken. You are becoming a valuable member of the collective. But we got to help you keep your mind right. We got to help you keep your spirit right. It has nothing to do with baths. It has nothing to do with spa visits. And it has nothing to do with meditation or prayer. It starts with boundaries with other humans, other souls, spirits. To give me 50 feet. That way you preserve your compassion, your empathy, and your love for the collective, because we need you. Because everybody's not meant to do this job. The statistics of elder abuse and neglect, and child abuse and child neglect, are astronomical. And it doesn't have to be, because people are burnt out and they're tired